UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Ribas 2. Here's my experience.
I see my haters proud of me now. When I'm around, it's all smiles. I took over my whole town.
To kick it off, I'll give this card a solid 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. A lot of fun finishes, a lot of fun fighters on this card. A lot of Dana White Contender Series alums on this card. The first fight of the night I want to talk about is Mr. Bruno Lopez taking on this man right here. Bruno Lopez had a very, very dominant performance in my opinion. Not the flashiest performance, but it got the job done. He out-wrestled his opponent and made it look pretty easy while doing it. I'm pretty sure Mr. Bruno Lopez has some more exciting performances in his future, but to take out a very, very high-level kickboxer the way he did was very, very impressive in my opinion. What did you guys think about this? The next prelim fight I want to talk about is Mr. Jacoby Smith versus Preston Parkins. This man, Jacoby Smith, has potential to be the next Dana White Contender Series alum, to be an absolute superstar. At 170, this man put on an absolute show. For the short amount of time we did see him in his UFC debut, a left hook from hell sat that man down, and he put on an excellent performance, and I cannot wait to see his sophomore outing inside the octagon. I'll touch on this prelim. We got Thiago Moraes versus Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden looked phenomenal in the first round, but it did turn out that he had a torn pectoral at sometime in the second round. And after that, Thiago Moraes just pretty much cruised to victory with a whole lot of rest. And it is what it is in that fight. The last prelim I want to talk about, we have another Dana White Contender Series alum, Mr. Marco Tulio, taking on IOU TA, who missed weight by 3 pounds. Didn't matter. Outside of an early nut kick that Marco Tulio gave to IOU TA, I say for missing weight, Marco Tulio pretty much dominated the fight and got him out of there inside the first round. This past season's Dana White Contender Series alum have been absolutely fantastic in the UFC so far, and I can't wait to see the next one. Opening up the main card, we have Punahele Serrano. I'll probably butcher his name. I'll more than likely butcher his name. Versus Euro Medic. Absolutely dominated. 31 seconds. Can't get much better than that. I mean, it looked like Euro Medic just never got going, and Serrano just kept going forward, kept tagging him. He was able to finish him inside the first round, which was a very, very big surprise to me. I thought Medics was pretty much set up for this fight to try to boost his star power, in my opinion. But Serrano took advantage of it, and he made a statement. Following that fight, we had the prospect killer. We had Mr. Christian Rodriguez taking the undefeated Austin Bashi. C-Rod looked fantastic this entire fight. I mean, he looked like he let Austin Bashi kind of gas himself out. It was Austin Bashi's first time in the UFC. The lights might have been a little bit too bright, but I do think Austin Bashi is going to come back and have a hell of a career in the UFC. But C-Rod is just something about the undefeated fighters that gets him up for it, and he gets ready to fight, and he wins a lot of the times. I mean, he took several people's O's, and I can't wait to see what he has next in store. I also feel that way for Austin Bashi. I want to see how he bounces back from his first career loss. Either he's going to bounce back really, really well, or he's going to crash and burn with some other undefeated fighters who didn't bounce back very well. In the fight of the night and in the controversy of the night, we have Mr. Roman Kopylov versus Chris Curtis. I had this fight 1-1 going into the third round. Very, very strike heavy on both sides, and I love the fight. It's fantastic to see just pure striking from time to time in UFC, and it's just one of the very, very good examples of that. But the controversial part of this fight came from the stoppage that the referee did with 1 second left and Roman Kopylov walking away. Roman Kopylov was walking away, and he stopped the fight while Chris Curtis was trying to get back to his feet. Now, we don't know how the judges would have scored that third round. I had it for Roman Kopylov going up into that point, but you never know with the judges inside the UFC, and I feel like Chris Curtis probably earned the right to go to the judges' scorecards, but now on his record, it is a TKO knockout, and people are just going to see that like, oh, he knocked out Chris Curtis, and they're just going to put that feather in Roman Kopylov's hat, and they're going to say, oh, he knocked out Chris Curtis, just like that. But what did you guys think about this fight? How did y'all feel about it? Let me know. Following that fight, we have an early 2025 Knockout of the Year award nominee. We have Mr. Cesar Almeida versus Alrazar Alassane. Cesar Almeida was getting pieced up at the beginning, but there's one thing about Brazilians, and there's one thing about them left hooks. If they connect, they could put you out cold, and that is exactly what happened to Alrazar Alassane, and it was not very nice to see. They said he was out cold for several minutes after the cameras cut away and everything. Very, very scary stuff there, but this man, Cesar Almeida, he lost his last fight to Rami Kopilov by being out wrestled. Give him a pure striker like Alassane, and he shows what he can do, as he did fight Alex Pereira 3 times in kickboxing. He lost 2 of them, but he did fight him 3 times, and then he can knock out any of them. So I find that very, very impressive. But Cesar Almeida, if he can get his wrestling together, he can be a very, very dangerous man at 185 pounds. But that is a very, very big if. In the co-main event of the night, we had another rock'em sock'em type of fight. We had Mr. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris. Going into the 3rd round, I had it 204 Harris. Santiago Ponzinibbio needed a finish, and he got just that. Another one of those fights where it was kind of controversial as to why you stopped the fight. Carlston Harris was throwing back when the fight got stopped, so it's kind of like, why would you stop that, in my opinion? But I can see from the ref's point of view too. He's kind of a sitting duck, and Santiago Ponzinibbio throwing right hooks and right hands at will, and it was connecting very, very powerfully. I mean, he got dropped to his knee a couple times during the finishing sequence. But it is what it is there. Santiago Ponzinibbio comes back in 2025 with a W, and Carlston Harris drops back-to-back fights by knockout losses, or by TKO knockout losses. What do you guys think for both of those fighters? Let me know. In the main event of the night, we have a rematch between Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Ribas, a fight 6 years in the making, and Mackenzie Dern looked damn good in it. She looked damn good in it. I mean, she knew the game plan was to get this fight to the ground, where she had all-world experience advantage over Amanda Ribas, and it showed in the finishing sequence as Mackenzie Dern was able to lock in an armbar, and it was fantastic finish all around. Mackenzie Dern has set herself up for a fantastic 2025. How did you guys feel about this card as a whole? Let me know down below in the comments. What was your favorite highlight? What was your favorite low light? Like always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Be good people. Peace.